Hello guys, welcome back to the next video in our little series. So previously we had set up a very basic scene, we had popped a little contraption into it, and in this video we're going to make that contraption loop its little animation over and over again, just as a little background prop before we bring our characters into it. So let's hop over to the software view here. I'll just remind you what we saw last time. Click over the contraption here, turn off that layer again, just so we can see. So this is where we left off, and what we have here is a 10-second composition, and if I play through this we can see that our contraption only lasts 2 seconds. So when we get to the end of that, it disappears off screen. So there's a couple of ways we can fix around this. One way that we can do is to go into the contraption composition itself and make it longer and just keep copying and pasting those keyframes over and over again. That would be the simple way of sledgehammering it in, but we don't want to do that. But what I want to show you, just if I click into the contraption here, if I click into that composition, you're going to notice it disappears here. This might freak you out. It's nothing major that you have to worry about. The reason why that happened is when we hit play back here, if I have my playhead over somewhere where that composition is visible on screen, if I go back, it's there. If I let this play on beyond where it's off screen, go to the contraption, that playhead is actually continued along this composition as well. So it's actually way out to the right over here beyond where I can see it. So if you can't see it and you're wondering where the hell is it gone, just click on the timeline, bring it back. There you go. But anyway, that's just a minor tip. But back to what we're actually talking about. So yes, if I wanted to, I could take each of these layers individually, copy, extend out my composition, make it longer, and copy paste all these keyframes. Now if I have a more complex composition rig with maybe 20 or 30 layers, that's going to be a real pain in my backside doing that. Very, very inefficient way. So there is a simpler way of doing it. We do a wee bit of complicated After Effects magic here, but in the long run it's a lot simpler. A couple of button clicks and we can take this composition here and we can basically stretch it out. So what I want to do is right click on this and go time, enable time remapping. Let me just check, can you actually see that on my screen? My OBS is being a little bit weird, so hopefully you can see this. When I right click on that contraption layer, we get a tall window here. Up near the top we have time, and inside that we have enable time remapping. If I click on that, it's going to add a little bit of more stuff into our properties in our layer in the timeline manager. It adds this time remap here. Now you're going to see a couple of things happen. You're going to see that we have two keyframes added, one at the very start, one at the very end. Now, another more subtle difference you're going to see is that our little 2-second clip here, it previously had a couple of little black lines on it. They indicate the start and end point of the clip. But when we add the time remap, it actually removes them and it allows us to stretch this clip out longer. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stretch it up to the full 10 seconds here. Previously, I wouldn't have been able to do this. Previously, I could have shrunk the clip down shorter, but I couldn't make it extend, beyond the limit of its original duration. With the time remap on, I can do that. So I'm going to stretch this up to the full 10 seconds. But that is not our job done just yet. If I hit play here, you'll see that even with this extend it beyond, once we get up to those 2 seconds, it still disappears. We need to do a wee bit more stuff to make sure this stays on. I'll explain what these two wee keyframes are as well just before we move on. This is the start and this is the end. The time remapping is kind of like turning that layer into rubber. It allows us to squish it down and make it run faster, or stretch it out and make it run slower. So if I actually drag this last keyframe here and take it out further away, what it's going to do is make that animation last longer. So it looks like it's kind of going in slow motion. It's kind of jerky, but it's making it last longer. and then once it gets one full run of the animation, it disappears. So I'm just going to undo that with Control Z, put it back to its original point. But that's what those two wee points are for. If you've ever seen the film 300 and you've seen the battle scenes where it seems to speed up and slow down and speed up and slow down, that's what they're doing. They're using the time remapping. They speed up and slow down the video. That's exactly the same thing that they're doing. But there is another little thing we need to do here. If I alt click on the little stopwatch, alt left click, I'm just going to hit caps lock here to disable refresh. Come on, where are we at? There we go. I just alt click on my little stopwatch. Now remember, don't just click on it. Clicking on it will deactivate our keyframes. It's important to hold the alt key and then click. Hold alt key and click brings up this little expression box, and the expression box is basically where we can write in wee short bits of code. And what I want to do is write a wee bit of code that will make my animation loop over and over again. And it's very, very simple to do. All I want to do is click on the text here where it says time remap underneath my keyframes and change this to say LOOP OUT open brackets, close brackets. I'm writing the word loop out and then a set of brackets. Now we want to make the O for the word out a capital letter just to get the right syntax for this. I'm going to hit enter. But we don't even need to click enter, we just click off it. And that little bit of code, if I am correct, will allow this to then loop over and over again. So you'll see there, if I start during the animation, it will get to the end of it and loop it over and over again. This is now going to loop forever and ever, as long as our composition lasts, as long as we've stretched out the width of the layer here in the timeline. It's going to last forever. Just that one wee bit of code, loop out, that's all we have to do. So remember, we alt click to show up that expression box, and then in the way expression box we type loop out, open brackets, close brackets. Now, if you look very closely, we're going to find one wee problem here that we still need to fix. If I zoom in and I go just before the end of our first loop of animation, you're going to notice you get this flickering effect. It's just for a single frame at the end of just the first loop, it flickers off and then on again. And really, this is just down to a wee quirk of After Effects. It's an easy fix, but it's not a fix you just think off the top of your head. After Effects tends to have a lot of stuff kind of shoehorned into it. It's not necessarily designed for doing a lot of this stuff. We've found ways of doing this stuff, but it's not perfect. So we tend to get a lot of these wee kind of glitches and stuff no matter what you're doing. After Effects, this is one of them. And we just have to kind of work around it. We've come up with a wee workaround. All we have to do to get rid of this blank frame, now you'll notice that blank frame lines up exactly with the second wee keyframe here. And that's because this wee last keyframe corresponds with the last keyframe in the original contraption composition. And that last keyframe is actually blank because it's off the end of the composition. So super simple wee fix. I just want to come one keyframe back, just one keyframe ahead, just click and drag. And then I want to add another keyframe in here. So how do I do that? You may have noticed earlier on, anytime we start keyframing our elements, we get these three wee icons here, a left, a diamond, and a right. So the left and the right will actually instantly flick you between keyframes. It'll flip your wee playhead between keyframes. So if you're trying to pick one exactly, these wee buttons can take you to the next one or the previous one on the timeline. More interestingly, this wee diamond icon here, what this will do is insert a keyframe at the point you're at with the current properties that you have. So if you have something on a certain position, you want it to stay there, click this wee button. Certain rotation, click this wee button. In this case, I want to add an extra keyframe down here. So I click that little diamond icon and you'll see it has added a third keyframe just before our original final one. Now at the minute, we're still getting that invisible. But here's all I have to do. that original final keyframe, the one at the very end of our list here, the one that was going invisible, I just select it and just delete it. That's all I have to do. And now with this new one that we've added in, becomes the new final frame of our cycle. And because it's one frame earlier, it hasn't went invisible. And then the little loop out expression will still continue on, and we've got rid of that little glitch there, that little transparency glitch. So there we go, we have made this animation loop. If I zoom out and we just hit play, it's going to play throughout for the whole duration of our composition. This, we would do the same thing if we were doing a walk cycle for a character. Instead of making them walk 5 or 6 steps, we'll create a composition where they walk 1 step, and then we'll loop that over and over again. That is one of our most efficient ways for looping animation. So a few other things we can do with this. I'm going to duplicate this machine a few times and tidy it up. But that is the loop. We'll maybe look at that again when we come to the character later on. So I'll stop that there. Here's what I'm going to do. Just rather than give it its own wee video, I'm going to play with this scene a wee bit more, do a bit more to it. I'm going to take this contraption now, and I am going to hit Control C and Control V, and that will give us a duplicate of it. And I'm just going to move it over to the side. So now we've got to, maybe our scene is a factory or something. Maybe if we were making these, we can make other stuff like wee conveyor belts running between them. Who knows? Use your imagination when you're creating your own scenes. But here we've got 2 of these machines side by side. What I'm also going to do, I'm going to hit Control C again and Control V again and make a third one. And drag this over here to the right. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make this a lot bigger. Hold Shift to keep it in proportion. Just as a kind of a foreground element. I'm just going to have it off to the side here. And there we've created a bit of a scene. Just for composition's sake, I'm going to drag these over a wee bit so there's less dead space at the end. And maybe this near one, I'll just drag you down a wee bit so we can see a wee bit more what's going on here. Lovely. So now if I hit play, we've got 3 copies of the same composition and they all have the animation applied to them. So now it's going to play all of those in sync. Now the problem being is they're all perfectly in sync and they're all playing exactly the same way. So I want to kind of offset them a wee bit. Here's a very simple wee way we can do that. I'm going to take this foreground one and I'm just going to click and drag this layer over a wee bit to the left. And what this will do is offset the keyframes. So now this one's playing on a slightly different time than the other 2. And what we need to do is then just grab the very end of this and extend it out so that it reaches the end. Pay careful attention to your wee cursors here, make sure you get the right one. So here, I'll just drag it left to righty. But if we go to the very end, we get our little black cursor, which will let us extend it. Make sure you're on the right one. And I'll do the same thing just for one of my background contraptions. I'll just offset you just the tiniest wee amount and extend that back out again. Get you there. And there we can see they're all slightly off sync a wee bit. We can see a wee flicker there. I just need to extend that a bit more. One more wee keyframe. There we go. So now we've got 3 of these that they are sort of working a wee bit out of sync with each other. The more you drag that left and right, the more out of sync they're going to be. One other wee thing I might do to differentiate the background ones from the foreground ones, I'm going to add a little tint effect. So same way we added the glow effect to our lights previously. And in fact, I've just noticed a wee thing there. Our layer order, our spotlights are currently above everything else in the layer stack. So what I want to do, I'm going to grab 1, grab 2, grab 3, just drag these underneath the contraptions just to set it behind there. There we go. So what I'm going to do, this foreground spotlight, which is this one, I believe. Not the spotlights, the contraptions. Yes, this one. I'm going to add a little tint effect. So in here, if I type in tint, there we are, color correction tint. And I'll just add it here down the timeline, a bit easier to pinpoint that. So if I add a tint effect, initially what it's going to do is turn it black and white, but that's not really what I want to do. map black to black, map white to white. Really, this is going from the light areas and the dark areas. Map the light areas to white, map the dark areas to black. So what I want to do is I don't want to turn them black and white. I'm instead just going to give a wee slight blue tinge to these. So I'm going to select a blue color. Something similar to my background here, just with the map white is all I'm going to do. Now that is very, very, very strong. So what I'm going to do is take the amount to tint and bring this way down, maybe about 20%. Maybe a wee bit more. Give it maybe 30%. Sorry, my computer's chugging a wee bit here with this. We'll go 30%. And there we can see we've got a slight tint on this. It just differentiates the color a wee bit from these two in the background. It just adds a wee bit more depth to the image. So there we go, we can play this. This is our basic little scene. Next thing we're going to do is add our character to this, our little critter that we rigged up ages ago. And we're going to add him to this scene and make him just walk across this scene. So we'll leave this video here for now. That was our looping animation and also just a couple more doing a couple more wee bits of this scene itself. And I will see you next time where we will talk about the character. So thank you very much. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I'll see you for the next video.